MxM kicks off Alpha Playtest 3 with some interesting new mini-games. PAX Prime is showcasing an awesome new hardcore fantasy survival game called Outward. Crossout makes it to Steam Early Access with a brand new game mode, and Revelation Online is headed into closed beta a little sooner than we thought. What's up guys, James Blunt here with your weekly recap for gaming news and announcements for the week ending August 29th, 2016. And starting out the news this week, Master X Master starts up its third closed alpha test, which is still going on until August 31st, by the way. So they're getting a little bit longer each time. This playtest introduces new European servers, German and French localization, the same PvE stages and PvP modes as the previous playtest, and this time we actually get a first look at a new mini-games mode. The mini-games are a unique element to the game, bringing a Mario Party type feel more than anything. With this, players can queue up and challenge others on the dispatch screen to compete in random stages, each providing their own unique challenges, mechanics, and perspectives, as you can sort of tell from the new trailer here. In these, you will be stripped of your master's combat abilities, so all you have to do is dip, duck, dive, dodge, and dodge your way to victory. It's kind of cool how they introduced this much content to the game this early on, and there's no doubt that it's fun. Next up, some really cool new game announcements popped up for PAX Prime, also known as PAX West, which is about to happen this week, September 2nd through the 5th. The first one is a game called Outward, and it's a hardcore fantasy survival game. It's not an MMO, but at least it's multiplayer based on the trailer alone, from 9 Dots Studio. According to the small bit of info about the game on 9 Dots Studio's website, the game breaks many conventions to offer a new type of experience with the intent to create a new RPG subgenre. So looking at the trailer, at first it kind of made me think Mortal Online style, but after watching it entirely, I'm getting a more Black Desert with some Dark Souls crossed with Ark Survival Evolved kind of vibe, because in this game, you're an adventurer that can build, create traps, use special equipment, perform magic rituals, fight monsters and other enemies, and at the same time, you're also trying to survive the environment, like hunger, thirst, and the need to sleep on occasion, apparently. Plus, this game is hardcore, so it's constantly auto-saving, so you can't exactly reload to a previous save point when things turn out bad. So yeah, this one definitely caught my eye, so I figured I'd share it with you guys. I'm really doubtful that it's a free-to-play game, but we'll hopefully hear more about it at PAX this week, so stay tuned. Another pre-PAX reveal trailer was for a new game called Smash and Grab from United Front Games, a competitive multiplayer game where gangs of the future battle it out for loot, power, and infamy inside a corporate urban dystopia. United Front Games is the team that developed the Sleeping Dogs games, as well as the not-so-great Triad Wars, and even though this is a teaser trailer, you can kind of see that style portrayed here a little bit. Almost looks like they just picked up a lot of the usable pieces left over from Triad Wars and built a competitive multiplayer game that kind of looks neat. I guess we'll have to see a little bit more later. For now, the game just got a Steam page and is preparing to go into early access in September. But speaking of Steam Early Access, Crossout finally made it over to Steam this past week, and at the same time, they introduced their new Convoy Escort game mode, a new heist mission, and new map, bringing the total number of maps to 10. The Convoy Escort has players defend a valuable cargo truck from scavengers so they can transport goods across the map successfully. The new map was created just for this mission exclusively with a long pathway that has almost no turns. Enemies will be attacking along the way with a major clash happening in the center. The rewards for this mission depends on the distance players get with the convoy to the other side. So yeah, the game is available early access on Steam, but for now, the only way to get into that particular game on Steam is by picking up the early access pack, which will run you about $30, but come with a boatload of in-game stuff. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure it's still fairly easy to get access through the client itself. Next up, if you happen to be keeping up with H1Z1 nowadays, just this past week, Daybreak released a new map reveal trailer for King of the Kill. According to the art director, the original map was created in a way that felt a bit like an assembly line, and they also noticed that players tend to repeatedly migrate towards specific locations on the old map, while other areas were left pretty much untouched. So with the new map, they've created an area that effectively uses the considerable amount of space that they have available to them, and as you can tell from the new trailer, it's a lot more visually pleasing on top of that with the new environments. So with the new map being considerably more detailed than the old one, it makes the world feel more realistic. So they also put a lot of work into making the game's lighting a more dynamic feature. For example, when entering or exiting a building, it will cause the player's visions to adjust accordingly, which is kind of a neat feature. All this added to the map is probably not going to make it run any easier on your computer, but I have a feeling they've also incorporated some new engine or at least some sort of better optimization process to go along with the new map. Or at least that's what you'd expect anyway. I guess we'll see. Once again, keeping up with the Sheer Madness update and Evolve, we see yet another decent-sized addition to the game, and this time it's essentially a new game mode known as the Deepest Dark. Unlike the typical 4v1 hunt, the Deepest Dark is a linear 4-player co-op experience built within the Evolve universe, something that players have requested. For now, players will access the operation as a new map variant within the co-op versus AI matchmaking queue. At the start of the operation, the hunters are greeted by an ominous voice setting the scene and alluding to the events that have led to the Queen of the Gorgons taking over a Wraith containment facility and the surrounding area. As the team makes their way to the Queen's lair, they face hordes of infected wildlife and Gorgon minions that spawn from the Queen's eggs. This new operation is in beta, kind of like Evolve Stage 2 itself, and acts as the first baby step towards the exploration of the story of Evolve. The game is already doing well now that it's free to play, so adding more content like this is only going to make it that much better. Also last week, Elsword released the second chapter within Elysion, known as the Celestial Dimensions, raising the level cap, expanding the storyline, and introducing 2 brand new dungeons. The new level cap has reached 99 now, as players journey through time and space once again in the second chapter. In Elysion, players can only move between the 2 sections via teleportation, which is located in the middle of the map, and upon reaching the town of Elysion, you'll discover the 2 new dungeons, Celestial Crossroads and Adrian's Palace. I've got to say, the monsters, the NPCs, and the surroundings look pretty sweet for this new area, and there are several level up reward events going on to push the new level cap, so might be the time to check it out. On a slightly similar note, Tryon Worlds launched the Alvir's Legacy update for Devilian this past week. It's something I mentioned in past recaps. This update lets Devilians reach level 56 to discover new and more powerful gear along with the power of Alvir's artifacts and several challenging new dungeons, including 4 heroic dungeons and hell dungeons and an Archdevil dungeon. And like I mentioned and laughed at in one of the previous recaps, the most challenging type of dungeon ever, the heroic Archdevil dungeon. It just sounds funny to me, I have to say it that way. It's not the biggest update ever, but it's still an update. Cool news came in this past week as Revelation Online announced its digital Founders Packs along with a time frame for closed beta for Europe and North America. There are 3 packs to choose from, each offering guaranteed closed beta access and early head start access for open beta, and as you progress up towards the higher price packs, you get 1 to 3 months worth of premium status, which is essentially getting you experience a little bit faster. That's the gist of it. The 2 higher tier packs include exclusive costumes and exclusive mounts, with the deluxe pack, the highest price pack, that is, at $89, including the flying cat mount, in addition to all the others. So you're going to pay a little bit more for that flying cat mount. It's worth it, apparently. So the entry-level Explorer pack runs you $17.99, and the Founders pack, as it's called, the middle option, goes for $59.99. I've got a feeling for a little while this is going to be the only way you'll be able to access the closed beta, followed by giveaways, of course, and then finally open beta closer to the end of the year. The coolest part, though, is that closed beta is even closer than we expected, so if you do pick up a Founders pack, you'll be able to access the game in closed beta starting this October. Check out the official announcement page for more details. Going back to a little of last week's news, Paragon followed up with an overview for its latest hero, Narbash, the not-so-little drummer orc. Narbash is a melee caster that uses the power of his drums to support his allies. His Song of My People ability provides bonus health regen to nearby allies and himself. And as you saw from the teaser trailer, Narbash uses his drumsticks for more than just keeping a beat. His Thunk ability stuns enemies via drumstick to the face. His March ability, of course, provides movement speed increase to him and his allies, and his ultimate is nothing short of Kabrakan's Tremors ability in Smite, with a nice big knock-up at the end. Seems like a fun support character if you ask me, and he's available to play now free for all. And speaking of Smite, Hi-Rez gets ready for Oktoberfest with a very lively skin for Noir, available in the 3.16 patch. But I've got to say the best part is the voice pack that go along with it.
For shizzle my schnitzel.
And likewise, League of Legends showcases its set of arcade skins for 2016, which now includes Ezreal, Corki, and Ahri. All the pixely goodness. Check out the new videos and site posts linked in the description below for more details. Next up, Edgecase Games, developer of the team-based combat game Fractured Space, revealed that the game is scheduled to officially launch in beta on September 15th. After 2 years in early access, the game has evolved from a bare-bones team match to a fully fledged game with over 20 ships, customizable ship loadouts to affect ship capabilities, selectable crew members that influence bonuses, and more. Edgecase Games is holding back some planned launch features for PAX West this week, but according to the announcement, they've got plenty to talk about, so look forward to more info next week and open early access via Steam September 15th. Likewise, Perfect World announced that Motiga will be making a gigantic appearance at PAX West this week as well. See what I did there? Giving players a chance to play the game on the show floor, handing out some sweet prizes from AMD, Astro, and Corsair, along with stress test keys. Typically when I think stress test, I think 1 or 2 stress tests, not that's what we're calling our limited closed beta. Not really sure if that's a good thing or not. Sadly, in my opinion, they really need to get on the ball with this game if they don't want it DOA. It's a great game, don't get me wrong, but if you've been in early access for going on 2 years, you've got to speed things up, otherwise you might get rushed to do so. Fireball. Luckily, they plan to have some upcoming stress test announcements sometime this week. And finally, for our last bit of news, also from Perfect World, Livelock finally has an official launch date. Again. And it happens to be today. After the first delay, Livelock finished up polishing and is now ready to launch simultaneously on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Steam. And just so you know, this is one of the games that I was playing in my last video on MMO Huts. A few people were asking, so I figured I'd let you know. As a little gift for waiting for those who purchased the game prior to it launching the first time, or even after that, you'll get bonus keys for Neverwinter and Star Trek Online. And if you don't really need those, I guess you can pass them along to your friends. The game will run you $19.99 and will more than likely go on sale at some point in time, but it's definitely fast-paced and entertaining. I give it a thumbs up. I've been playing it a little bit here and there when I get a chance, and I'm enjoying it so far. In case you're wondering how I've been able to play it, it's because they gave us keys before the delayed launch date originally, and we were still allowed to access the game. One of few. Anyway, that's enough rambling on. That's about it for all the major news and announcements this week. Keep a lookout for cool PAX news that you might want to share in the comments below. Pick up more information about the news featured in the recap from the description below. And until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.